What's going on, everybody? Midweek update. We're just out picking a little bit of produce, so corn's looking real good. Maybe this week or next 3 weeks, be sampling the corn that's been growing. The zucchini plants are doing real well. I clipped a couple. I'll show some of those in a little bit. Need to do a little trimming. A couple of leaves are getting old, and kind of aerate some of the plants inside. Potatoes doing pretty well. I just topped off the soil, so that one's not real happy about some of it. The green bean patches are doing pretty well. Those different sets of tomatoes back there didn't like the heat and didn't like the bucket they were in. The orange Rossellini tomatoes, I thought they'd be bigger, but they're about the size of a grape tomato. There's a bunch in there. Bitter melon's doing really well. Here, let's see if I can zoom in. You can see a couple bitter melons hanging out in there. The Roma bean's not doing so hot. Snap peas I replanted. Those keystone peppers starting to bud. The rutabagas, they got bugs. I sprayed them, so the leaves are a little worse for wear. I'm going to try harvesting one or two, see how big the rutabagas are, and kind of go from there. There's a little up close and personal with the whole kernel corn, or the whole kernel corn, yeah, it's on the cob, you moron. With the corn. It's staying pretty hydrated in the self-wicking tub, so I am having to top it off daily, but it's as you can see, the soil is pretty moist considering it was almost 100 degrees a day, and I watered this morning, so there's plenty of fluid and nutrient hanging out in the bottom there. Like I discussed before, this type of strawberries, I forgot which flavor those are. Those are burning, not doing real well. Those are pretty healthy. Few berries, a little burning because I think because they're hitting the edge of the buckets. Probably need to fill the buckets all the way to the top with dirt and then plant them, or put them in a different type of grow bucket. The dill, because my cucumbers have been growing well, it's starting to flower, so I need to pick and trim this thing down. I did pull up the radishes. You'll see a couple. Some of them, well, they were about going to seed, so they were in there a couple weeks too long, but just didn't have time to get to eating them. Picked one of these Japanese radishes. Supposed to be a green wasabi-like radish. It's kind of green and white. I've got one over there. We'll see. Beefsteak not doing too hot. You can see the crazy watermelon. It goes all the way down to here. It's on both sides of that strawberry plant. It's all the way over there. It's that whole bucket, and it touches the other rutabaga. I'll spin around the other side in a moment. Green onions are doing well. I need to trim those. I've got the new microphone on. I'm guessing you can barely hear the air conditioning in the background. It's kind of actually over there, so hopefully it's more directional. So the mic is pointing towards my head, so it should reduce some of that noise unless I spin around that way. Got a lot of different kinds of carrots. I think those were the rainbow carrots. I think these are the Chantenay carrots. They need to be thinned out. These were the black and red carrots, kind of half and half. This half is the black carrots, the black nebulas. These were atomic reds. They need to be thinned out as well. Basil plant is starting to recover from being trimmed and the heat. There's a little bit of burning down the side here. These transplants are not doing real well. They do not like the heat that we've had this week. So, I mean, they had plenty of root system around the 4-inch cups, but they just didn't do real well. So I'm gonna have to wait till this grows a little bit, pop some more tops off, and propagate those. But check this out. That's about the size of a baseball. And there was like the tiniest, oh, there we go. There's your tiny baby watermelon. That's about the size of a grape. And there's a couple other small ones, and I didn't go poking in there, but that's all. Those 2 or 3 plants have just sprawled out everywhere. new batch of radishes, and this is the I guess we'll call it the haul today. Those bitter melons got ripe. They're actually extremely soft, so I need to take those inside, cut them open and harvest the seeds. Pretty good sized bell peppers. A couple of them little I think burned on the back side or on the bottoms, and then I mean they're good size. They're not the fat round peppers, right? These are big Berthas, so they're big and they're longer. Couple of Scotch bonnets. I'm a little afraid to dig into those. They're supposed to be ridiculously hot. We'll see how hot they are. What I've noticed is growing some of the hot peppers are not as hot, whether it's the hydroponics or the dirt. Don't know. There was one banana pepper left and it turned red that was stuck at the bottom of the plant where everything else broke off. We've got some lemon cucumbers. Then this one got kind of old. This is a regular. This is the Diva cucumbers, and so are these. So I just picked all those. So fresh cucumbers. Here is the Japanese radish. It's green and white-ish. We'll see what happens. And then these I think are going to be old, but I'm going to cut the tops and bottoms off and dig in and see if they're worth the effort to eat them. And then a couple of zucchinis, pretty good size, and then I picked a small one. I don't really eat squash, but I'm gonna give it an attempt, so I'm gonna take the smaller one, and I bought some tempura and I'm gonna fry it. Then I've got some sun golds. They just turned this yellow orange. These are the chocolate sprinkle. These are the midnight snacks. They were heavy purple and green, and then they turn a reddish color. These are extremely large grape tomatoes. They look more like small Romas. And then these are the early dolls that you see in the front of the greenhouse all the time, and they're more like a cherry tomato. I thought they would be bigger, but hey, you know, it is what it is. Anyways, that's all the updates. This is just a midweek, and I just figured I'd show the small haul that I just picked, and now it's time to go make some dinner. Oh, one of the two new cucumbers made it. The other one looks like it broke. It didn't handle it very well, and then this other one's starting to take off, so starting over the cucumbers.